Yes, a last-minute change to the top of tonight's show, to that huge breaking news. The police investigation into Angela Rayner is examining multiple allegations and is not merely limited to potential electoral law offences. That's according to reports that have just come out this evening. A source has told The Times that at least a dozen officers at Greater Manchester Police are investigating the Labour deputy leader over where she lived in the 2010s.
Angela Rayner, a rising force in UK Labour, is entangled in a legal firestorm. Allegations of election rigging and blocking reform have put her in the courtroom, threatening British democracy. But is this a real case or a political hit job? Let's dive into the details.
This is the electoral law element, and of course that's significant because those offences are meant to be registered and investigated within 12 months. So of course now we're talking about different things. We don't know, for instance, the kind of exact detail of what they're looking into, but one potential issue, if it's involving two different houses, is capital gains tax, of course, and there is no kind of statutory limit on that, which would mean that potentially you could see an investigation and potential criminal offences, etc., being committed, and it wouldn't have a time limit on it. And so that's what we're really interested in. I've just been talking to some Conservative MPs, and they say, you know, look, it's tax that really ought to be the thing that, if it's going to do for her, that's the thing that's going to do for her, because, you know, there is no limitation on that. And of course, that's the thing that did, for instance, for Nadeem Zahawi, and some of them are pushing now for an HMRC investigation as well. So I think this is quite a significant development tonight. And the Times also reveals that at least a dozen officers are involved in this. So it's quite a big investigation from the sounds of it.
Polls indicate a strong showing for Labour, driven by Karma's push to reshape the party. If the official results match projections, Labour could secure a mandate to steer the country beyond years of instability.
Angela Rayner she hasn't got the intellectual capacity. I'm sure she's a lovely person, but she just hasn't got the intellectual capacity to keep kind of telling fibs correctly. You know, if you're going to, all politicians lie, all politicians embellish, but you've got to have a certain amount of intelligence to make sure that those lies and embellishments all kind of like fit together properly. You know, so if you're challenged about each one of them individually, you can keep that lie or embellishment going, even if it's only a kind of white lie. With Angela Rayner, she just doesn't have the capacity, the mental capacity to do that properly. So she immediately stumbles. So one of the things that really made me laugh.
In a dramatic twist, Angela Rayner reportedly broke down in tears while defending her decision amid mounting backlash from opposition parties and legal experts questioning its validity. The controversy centers on her move to postpone elections in 9 council areas. The Deputy Prime Minister confirmed that elections originally set for May would be delayed until May 2026, coinciding with the transition from a 2-tier council system to unitary authorities.
When I heard that the Labour government, despite any manifesto commitment, want to completely change the shape of local government, and that is now being used by the Conservative Party, who in fact run most of the county councils, as a reason to cancel the elections. No, I'm not making it up. Over half of the county councillors in Britain have said, because these changes are coming, we want the elections cancelled on May the 1st. It looks like about 10 million of you who would have had the right to vote on that
The
day.
affected regions, East Sussex, West Sussex, Essex, Hampshire, the Isle of Wight, Norfolk, and Suffolk, will see over 5 million people unable to vote this year. This unprecedented move has sparked widespread outrage over the cancellation of local elections on such a massive scale. The government, however, defends the decision as part of a broader local governance overhaul. The Housing, Communities, and Local Government Secretary has pushed for more council areas, including those covering both county and district councils, to transition to unitary authorities. Additionally, 7 new devolution areas have been proposed, with plans for mayoral elections in May 2026 across Cumbria, Cheshire, Warrington, Greater Essex, Hampshire, Norfolk, Suffolk, Sussex, and Brighton and Lancashire.
It is absolutely monstrous. We haven't heard a big debate about it because both Labour and the Conservatives agree. They are terrified of the rise of reform. They know just how well we're going to do on May the 1st, and they've cancelled the elections in many of our strongest areas. Well, I promise you, we will fight those that are still up. We will do well, but I'm pretty angry. This denial of our democracy is something that is fundamentally un-British, anti-British, it's undemocratic, and it shows how rotten the whole system is now in British politics. There is no doubt in my mind, when you look at it, that Britain...
Addressing Parliament, Rayner defended the decision, stating that certain areas required extensive restructuring to support devolution, leading some regions to request election delays. But consider this, she said. If Nigel Farage were Prime Minister and Reform UK had postponed local elections until May 2026, the backlash would be immediate and overwhelming. Yet, under Labour's leadership, this very scenario is unfolding with far less uproar. Rayner emphasized that the government's default position was to proceed with elections unless a compelling justification for postponement existed, with a high approval threshold. She revealed that only half of the requests for delays had been granted after careful review to ensure they aligned with the government's devolution plans. According to her, holding elections for councils set to be dissolved without clear replacements would be an irresponsible use of taxpayer money.